Hello there, and welcome to another Chaos Commentary. What's wrong? Oh, my background? Yeah, I finally found one that suits me. You're probably wondering why here of all places. Simple. It's so I can burn everything around me whenever I get angry enough. I mean, the land just resets whenever I do so. So, what's a cover? You can cover a bad cartoon rant, you can cover a terrible commentary, mediocre commentator there on me, or I could go back to Pokemon. You probably know which one I'll choose, so let's dive straight into chaos. So enter Fox 14014. He made a video he believed to be the top 10 worst competitive Pokemon, and it wasn't that good to say the least. So here I come to save the day. And as I'm commentating on something with Fox in his name, you'll be seeing me use Tails as my avatar here.
But I can't dishonor the organization, now can I?
What's up guys, Fox here, and today I'm bringing you another Pokemon Top 10. Today, I'm going to be looking at the 10 most useless Pokemon in competitive. Now quite frankly, some Pokemon are just better than others, but today we're not looking at the best, we're looking at the very bottom of the barrel to find the 10 worst Pokemon in competitive. Note, this will not be based off tiering alone, this will be based off of pure stats and skill in battle alone. I am also including Mega Evolutions and Alola forms. Anyway, let's get started.
You might want to remember this for later. This is going to be crucial for later entries. Also, may I point out, your editing is sloppy as hell. I see that you're trying to imitate the styles of Verizon or Super, but there's a few problems. As an example, how fast Mega Lucario and Alolan Exeggutor fade away, and then Exeggutor gets cut off. Or I could bring up how choppy the pictures throughout the intro are put in. Some randomly fade in, others pop in out of existence, etc, etc. Oh yeah, also slight nitpick, but there's brief moments of silence when you speak too. Probably best to do something about that, mate.
At number 10 is Ho-Oh. Being the weakest Uber tier Pokemon in history ever since it was introduced in Generation 2, it is always constantly overshadowed by its counterpart Lugia.
Okay, there's multiple problems here. First, you chose something from the Ubers tier as number 1, when it would make more sense to talk about PU Pokemon. Second, when I first watched this video, I was going to let this slide, but then I realized the sprite of Ho-Oh looked odd and that it wasn't animated. Seeing this, I traced it back to the source and I found the Smogon page for Ho-Oh in gold and silver, link to that in the description below. The problem with this is that it means your evidence is outdated. Am I possibly overblowing a complaint? Well, yeah, possibly, but it shows that Fox should have gone deeper with its criteria. Then there's a Lugia comparison. Coming from somebody who does agree that Lugia is superior in battle, it still doesn't negate the pros that come for Ho-Oh, making this complaint irrelevant at best, and petty at worst.
Yeah. Also, it gets destroyed by all the lower tier Ubers as well, especially Pokemon like Greninja, which just absolutely destroy it and resist it.
Oh, so we are taking the later generations into account. Well, slap me over the head and call me Ash Ketchum, because this just makes using evidence for Gen 2 worse, you pleb. Also, the Greninja comparison is half right. So I decided to use a damage calculator on Pokemon Showdown, and wanted to see what happens if you ran 2 blank sets. I ran Greninja with Hydro Pump, and guess what? It was a 2-hit KO on Ho-Oh, meaning Ho-Oh has plenty of time to get rid of it, considering it has a pretty decent attack stat against Greninja's paling defense and HP, where the real challenge becomes getting around Greninja's protein due to his type switching. Oh yeah, and this point doesn't even work in context, considering Greninja isn't even a Ubers anymore.
In addition, it's been bad since Generation 2, and it's been called one of the worst Uber tiers of all time by Smogon itself.
Wait, pause, what's that text say? Oh, is the worst in Ubers, but that's not really saying a lot? I think the text speaks for me here. Really, the only real problem with Ho-Oh is a rather limited moveset. Something you didn't even bring up.
The second of 3 legendaries to go on this list is Articuno. It's sitting pretty low at this list because it hasn't been very good to begin with. It's been pretty awful since Generation 1 and has one of the most piss poor typings in the game.
Okay, not arguing the terrible typing part. That's true, Ice Flying is a really bad type. But Articuno was never good to begin with? Says who? Using evidence from a form or any evidence in general will greatly help this point. Oh, and since we're considering older generations to account, how about that high freeze chance in Gen 1? But for now, this point doesn't rock.
Which gets destroyed by most of its tier, which is PU. PU is littered with the rock type.
Kill me. No, seriously, it's one thing to give bad evidence. It's another thing entirely when the images you show completely contradict your point. PU is riddled with the rock tier, you say? Hard to believe when only 2 out of the 16 Pokemon you show belong to that typing. Genius.
And Articuno has no potential to go anywhere. Apart from putrid stats, it also has a limited move pool, and again, that awful typing.
You mean the putrid stats that you won't take the time to explain is even false considering both of the defense stats are over the hundreds? As for the move pool being bad, well, yeah, you're right, its move pool is rather limited. But 1, TMs exist, and 2, Freeze Dry, which allows it to hit water types. Also, let me bring up a strategy I recently became aware of. Pressuring. Simply have it run Protect, Substitute, and hold Leftovers. Opponent will lose power points in no time flat, and considering how the stronger rock type moves don't really have many power points in general, it's extremely aggravating. Almost like this video!
One of the only starters to make this list, Typhlosion is absolutely awful at everything.
Oh, sorry, never mind. Sorry, I just have to catch my breath. Just remember this for later.
It's a special attacker with a limited special move pool, and is normally limited to Scarf and Life Orb sets.
So it's limited to those items. Okay, so what? I don't see anybody complaining to set of the items are bad. They're saying if they hold their weight, then why are they bad?
It normally runs Life Orb with Thunder Punch and a special attack from the Fire type. However, with this limited move pool, it's not really touching anything. It's basically the Mr. Tickles of the RU tier. And even if it was any good, its defenses are just way too low to take a hit.
Okay, so originally I was going to argue against this and say who the heck runs Thunder Punch, but then I found out it was a popular set on Typhlosion in Gen 2 since there was no difference in special attack and physical attack. The problem here is it doesn't apply to today's time, similar to the Ho-Oh segment. Also, terrible defenses, both above 75, do even Pokemon Bro. Stop going back to the past because you were clearly no Samurai Jack. And yeah, I'll also be skipping a segment on some floor as they did make solid points on the bad speed stat and how predictable it could be.
But I can't dishonor the organization, now can I?
What don't you want in a Pokemon ability? Let's see. Having the attack stat and the speed stat for 5 turns as soon as you switch in. Oh yeah. Well, guess what? Regigigas has that type of ability, and it's awful. It has the 10th highest base stat total of any Pokemon in the game, but when you add in the slow start ability, it's absolutely god-awful.
Okay, slight nitpick here, but your editing is ending up as slightly predictable. I mean, this is what, the second or third time we've seen the Jesus statue? Jesus Christ, it's Jason boring! And also, slight nitpick, but you cut yourself off while you were speaking. Please don't cut yourself, I really detest blood.
It has one of the lowest base stat totals in the game after that, and although it is tanky as hell, a fighting type will be able to take it out with no trouble at all. Also, that is assuming that you don't get killed by a toxic or roared out of position, making you have to start that timer all over again.
Now here's where the criteria of the video is key. You never explain what type of battles you were including into the video. As such, I have the right to bring up double battles. And before somebody calls me out on him saying if you work around it, he said if, so I'm referring to this argument anyway. Simply bringing a Pokemon with Swoobat that has the move Skill Swap, a Pokemon like Gastrodon on move Gastro Acid. Then there's the other complaints. Now here's the thing, this Pokemon is great at stalling. Let's take a look at some of its moves. Thunder Wave, Paralysis, that is off. Easy Punch and Confuse Wave, cause confusion. Substitute to wear off those 5 turns. And speaking of Substitute, let's talk about Toxic. What is a good point? Here's the thing, Lumberry exists and is popular to run on Regigigas. And since it has such a high defense stat, it takes forever for the sub to actually break.
But I can't dishonor the organization, now can I?
I can already hear the Garchomp fanboys yelling at me, but here we go.
Whoa, we got an edgelord in the house. Somebody called a cop. Joking aside though, just don't do this. Blindly assuming you'll get hate for an entry means you're both generalizing your audience and making those who are Garchomp fans want to dislike you more. Oh, and you said kill yourself twice. The redundancy returns. Hail redundancy!
Mega Garchomp is by far one of the worst Mega Evolutions ever created. Dropping that speed to an average 90 makes it absolutely completely vulnerable to Ice-type attacks from Weavile. In addition, it also makes it vulnerable to Pokemon like Mega Glalie, which are increasing in usage. Also, it drops the very useful ability in Rough Skin for a pretty terrible ability in Sand Force.
Sand Force isn't that bad of an ability, but it requires you to have sand on the field in order to execute it. It's basically a life orb that only works in sand, but why have that as your Mega Evolution when you can just run a Garchomp with Life Orb and it works with every single move instead of Ground, Steel, and Rock type attacks exclusively?
Maybe because it doesn't come with the same drawback the Life Orb does and that it doesn't cause recoil damage? Just a thought.
It was the intro, so you knew this Pokemon was going to get on this list at one point.
No, I didn't. I originally thought that was just for the sake of making a joke. Once again, you're assuming your audience will know everything.
Anyway, coming in the number 4 spot is Brovery. Brovery is one of the most useless birds in the game.
Well, thanks for showing that picture because you just gave me some ammunition. Particularly in the form of Hoodoo and Pidove, or in particular the later evolutions of Unpheasant and Noctowl. Noctowl has mediocre stats at best, and is reduced to a toxic user and defogger at best, making it really weak to steel types. Unpheasant is seen as, and I quote, a very mediocre Pokemon, and doesn't have a great moveset to back up its typing. Ironically enough, both of these Pokemon are the same typing as Braviary, and its PU, which is below RU. You feeling stupid yet? Oops, forgot Swanna, who is also in PU, and I know how much you love your quad weaknesses.
Having pretty bad stats and a very low speed stat.
So an attack stat of 122 is bad. Can you freaking read? Imagine this thing. Access to Double Edge, and Brave Bird, and for Choice Band. And also, small speed stat is at 80, which is moderate at best.
Leaving it vulnerable to Rock type attacks and Ice type attacks that it's weak to, and especially Electric type attacks. Electric is a pretty fast typing, and Brovery doesn't have the defenses or the speed to keep up. In addition, it has a limited move pool and doesn't run very many successful sets, and that is why I chose Brovery for number 4.
You say, even though it gets access to Superpower, a strong fighting type move, that can KO Rock and Steel type, both of which are normally slow Pokemon.
Aurorus is the Pokemon containing the literal worst typing in the game. It is 4 times weak to Steel and 4 times weak to Fighting. In addition, it is also weak to all 3 primary types, which are the starter types of Grass, Fire, and Water.
My gosh, you stupid little basculin! How could you screw up this bad? Did you even look at your own script? Weak to their primary types? Wrong! Fourth, out of those 3, it's only weak to Water. The Rock typing makes it so that Fire type and Grass type moves only do neutral damage. You are a foolish fool who foolishly decided to foolishly release this foolish video by foolishly checking over the foolish script. Wow, foolish doesn't even sound like a word anymore, doesn't it, you fool?
In addition, it is also weak to ground type attacks. Also, the Rock type goes neutral against it, completely nullifying the Rock type that it has. However, Aurorus has pretty decent stats and a good ability in Glaciate. An ability that will only continue to get better over time.
But for now, Aurorus is useless.
Just noticed this now, but the numbering of this list sucks. So you end the segment saying that Aurorus has a good ability, however in all of your other entries it's mostly just, this Pokemon completely sucks, no redeeming quality whatsoever. Yet, all those other Pokemon are lower on the list. There's a problem with this, but I'll touch on this later in my final thoughts.
Raticate is a pretty bad Pokemon to begin with. I mean, it has its uses and it's kind of fun to dick around with in competitive, but other than that, it's completely useless in every way.
You know, besides getting the ever-terrifying Guts and Facade combo, which is supported by a normal typing, which gives it Stab, and it has a decent attack stat. Not to mention getting access to moves like Sucker Punch, which gives Priority, or Super Fang for Wars. Now yes, I only listed a few moves, which in hindsight proves him right. But he didn't bring those up, meaning I had to do his job for him.
However, Alola Raticate takes this uselessness to a whole other level. It makes it more useless in every single way, shape, or form. In addition to looking stupid,
which is irrelevant because it's a video on usefulness in battle.
Abilities Hustle, which is, I guess, okay, with Sucker Punch. I mean, it gets Sword Stance, but that's about it. This Pokemon can't do anything, and is almost always an OHKO. It's so bad, Pokemon Showdown doesn't even have an animated sprite for it yet. It literally still has the standard static sprite, just like they have in the Gen 4, Gen 3, and Gen 1 games.
This is similar to EXP sharing X and Y, and that is not needed. It doesn't contribute to anything except for showing how far you stretch for points. Does it affect anything to do with battle? No! Does it show how lazy you are in script writing? Wait, no, the answer is yes. Wait, why do we have so much time left? Oh yeah, and you're completely skipping over 6-Fat and Gluttony and any showings of move oh my gosh. 10 out of 10! Great scripting!
Sylvia, what the hell are you doing here?
That moment when you're trying to hide your face, and there's still a frame you can see pretty easily. Oh yeah, also your audio here sucks. Please try to record when there's nobody home. And normally I'd skip jokes like this, but...
Oh, simple, Fox. I'm taking over your channel now. Because your new videos are clearly trash, I am going to take over. This is going to be much better.
I'm trying to do work here, so if you could just screw off, that would be great.
Why do you hate me, Fox? You know I'm the best evolution. You know the rest of them are crap. You know I'm the only one worth using. So stop hating it. Embrace it. Let me come to you.
No. I can't. I won't. This is against my policy. Why would I do that?
Because, Fox, I know you were thinking about putting me at number 1. But guess what? Since I've taken over, I'm putting all the other evolutions at the number 1 spot. Guess what? Flareon, that piece of trash, terrible. Espeon. Screw her. Yeah, and screw her boyfriend, Umbreon. He's awful. I'm the only real Wish Protect user around here.
Given that a Wish Protector is run just as much, if not more, Vaporeon, I beg to differ.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's one of the things I hate the most about you.
And Glaceon. That slug's probably off plowing Leafeon as we speak. And Jolteon. Don't even get me started on that.
I can't believe I'm even editing this.
And Vaporeon. One day I'll surpass that piece. One day. Oh, don't you wait. Just one day.
Wait, this joke makes no sense even in context. Sylveon starts off by saying it's the best evolution around, and then says it has to surpass Vaporeon, implying that Vaporeon is better. And also, screw you, everybody in the Leafeon is the best. Look at the amazing typing of grass.
Oh, and when that day comes, you will never see
That
me
vape
coming.
though.
No one will be safe from the wrath of Sylveon.
Oh, Steelix, I have a treat for you.
That's it.
Guns? What a weakling. You don't scare me with your gun.
Okay, so the actual number 1 was going to be Parasect, but since Sylveon decided to be a dick, well, guess I can't put that there, can I? Anyway, quick explanation is because it's useless as a piss-poor typing, and its ability to dry skin does not help the fact that it's weak to fire. In addition, it can't really take a hit, has awful speed, and its signature move, Rage Powder, makes Pokemon have to hit it. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So we're not even going to talk about Spore or Effect Spore. Okay then. Also, can I go on a tangent for a second? See, I'm not against jokes. Heck, I try to prioritize humor in a few of my commentaries. However, your Sylveon joke lasted far too long, took time away from what could have been actually giving decent elaboration why Parasect isn't that good. Seriously, it was only 16 minutes of elaboration. Who the heck does that? Anyway, all that's left is more jokes and really nothing else, so in the video here. Okay, let me get this out of the way first. I have nothing against you as a person. I just think this video was absolute garbage. The editing was mediocre at best, and the bits with Sylveon, while funny, were absolutely pointless. I recommend you actually do research to build your points up, especially since you actually know how to find stats considering the Smogon pics you showed. I also recommend sticking to a better criteria, as the one you showed here was confusing. You said in the beginning tiers weren't going to be a factor, yet the majority of Pokemon on this list were in the PU tier. I also recommend you put your bias aside when it comes to talking about quad or double weaknesses, as they can still be useful. I get that you want to make good Pokemon countdowns, but if you take my information for fact, you will be stuck in the black hole known as mediocrity, where you will never escape. Anyway, this is Jonas Smith, and remember, you're next.